Hello, my lovelies. Reverend Muriel here of the Washington Spirituality and Mimosa Meetup. We are having our next meetup this Sunday at 1 p.m. at Art and Soul on Capitol Hill. Get all the details on the meetup site. We will be working with the theme of the mirror effect. What I mean is, we will be discussing how the things that show up in our lives are mirrors to the things we are feeling, seeking to heal, or have an aversion to. In other words, we will be discussing how you create your life from the inside, and all that you see on the outside is only a reflection. Now, more about that later. But I want to start this podcast by thanking all of you who have come out to our various meal events. I am so grateful for your presence and for honoring your RSVP and showing up. If you haven't been able to come yet, you are missing a lot. The members of this meetup have a rich store of wisdom which they share at the meetups. Plus, we have eaten some really great food. Last time we went to Peter Chang's in Rockville, and the food was amazing. It was true Chinese food, which is hard to get around here. If you didn't come to the meetup and haven't been to this restaurant yet, you better go and get yourself some. But what has been amazing at these meetups is the wisdom and the spiritual practices shared by the members. At one meetup, a member talked about an intention to do more floating in a float tank. And although I had heard of float tanks, I had never been. So I decided to try it, and I think I went to another dimension in which I was a very small child and was being doted on by my wonderful grandmother. Such a sublime memory. But really, it didn't feel like a memory, more like time travel. Try it. Another member shared that she swims to stay peaceful and that she plays music on her underwater MP3 and devotes laps in a sort of prayer to people who are facing some challenge. Wow. Another member shared that when she is faced with a challenge, she first examines whether she can do something about the situation and then does it. But after that, she just turns it over to God and continues to enjoy her life. Another member shared that the rhythm of playing tennis and making music puts him in touch with his inner peace. We have discussed meditation, and some have said that they have difficulty letting go of thoughts so that they can reach that alpha or meditative state. And I share that I use brain entrainment tracks to automatically put my brain in the state I choose. There's Holosync, Hemisync, and Inner Peace. Each of these programs costs money, and sometimes a lot of money, but I think they're worth it. But you can also go to YouTube and access many binaural beats tracks for free. There is no need to struggle to let go of thoughts to get to a meditative state. There is so much wisdom to be gained by coming to the meetups, and plus you will meet truly amazing people that are beginning to form spiritual community. Okay, that said, I would like to talk a little bit about our theme for this meetup, which is Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. Remember the Queen in Snow White went to the mirror and asked who was the fairest of all? And the mirror said, "Hey, it's not you, Queen." Well, when we talk about the mirror effect, we understand that the image in the mirror was only the Queen herself, really. And the statement that Snow White was the fairest reflected the Queen's own insecurities about her own beauty. Now, I'm not going to talk about how silly it is and really damaging to teach little girls that they should be concerned about their beauty. And I won't even get into and touch the Snow White imagery. But really, there is wisdom to be gleaned from this. You see, what we experience in our lives is only a reflection of our own thoughts, beliefs, and fears. Yes, the things that happen in our lives are a mirror of what is going on inside of us. Now, when I first heard this mirror effect thing, I was angry, kind of pissed off. And I argued to whoever told me about it that I am never cruel to others the way some have been cruel to me. Well, the mirror may work that way. In other words, if you are cruel, you will attract cruelty. But it doesn't always work that way. It's not that simple. You may be mirroring a belief that you are not worthy of being treated well. And so that belief of not being good enough is showing up as people being cruel to you. You may also have been cruel in the past and you've stopped, and the cruel behavior of others is showing what you have already healed. And believe me, this mirror effect could operate in like a million different ways. The thing to remember is that what you see happening out there is because of something happening inside of you. Now, what can you do with this information? Well, you can try to figure out what's inside of you that's causing all this stuff happening outside of yourself and drive yourself darn crazy. This is what I do a lot at first. But the more constructive way to do this is to just ask the question, what can I learn from this situation? And just be open for the answer to come in whatever way it can. And from the answer to what you can learn, you can begin to uncover what is happening inside of you to produce the outside events. It takes you right out of victim consciousness to a place of power. Because if it's something inside of you that is causing the things that you don't like, you have the power to change the inside, and then the outside will automatically change. So, what is your mirror telling you these days? Come out to the next meetup and tell the group. Now, for an announcement. For our next meetup in October, we will be discussing themes that are discussed in the book Living Beautifully by Pema Chodron. Now, hear what I'm saying. We will be discussing themes from the book, but reading this book is by no means required. But I always think that reading any book by Pema Chodron has affected me in profound ways. She is a Buddhist nun who teaches compassion to others, but also to yourself. This book is about how to ride the waves of uncertainty and change. We all seem to be riding that right these days. But to ride it and to live wholeheartedly or beautifully. Look out for the announcement for our October meetup. Hope you listen to this podcast to the end. That is all for now. Many varied and surprising blessings are coming your way. Bye.